and just dusted off the seats and wiped the mold off everything, and just preached. And there wasn't about 5 or 6 in the service at nights a lot of times, We
had some powerful services though.
Golly, we didn't care.
No.
You just, and it's I don't know, it was a great time. It really was, and I enjoyed it. And Glenn, a lot of the reasons I am who I am is because of him, and his faithfulness. I don't know. I think about how Glenn was there with me and stood with me and believed in me as a young boy, and that meant a lot to me. Touched my life. It really did help me. And I know you got to make sure we let people know that too, because we forget. It's so easy to forget. But there's things that we've done and lives that were changed. I think about people at the Church on the Rock, like Mary Grace.
Yeah.
And she died on the streets, in North Carolina. But she called me all the time. I think about her. Yeah. And I think about Mary Harding. I think about her boy. And I think about Myrtle Williams and Henry. I think about people, that we met through our life.
Yeah, a lot of
and
people.
it's I don't know, it's fascinating how I think about it. Well, Glenn, let's talk about this for a minute. Let's talk about memories. What are some early memories that you have when you was a boy, young boy? What are some of the early memories that stand out to you in your life?
Well, I had a grandmother that lived in the head of Thompson Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite memories is I would go stay with her some.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother went to bed at 6 o'clock every evening. She was in the bed, but she was up at 3:30 every morning.
Yeah.
And about 4:30, I'd be laying upstairs, and she had a big old huge feather bed mattress. I'd be all by myself laying up there, and I can remember, 4, 5, 6 years old, and I'd smell eggs, and I'd smell bacon, and I'd smell biscuits. It did not matter who was at her house.
Right.
If there was one person or there were 20, my grandmother always got up every morning. She would get her fire, and she cooked on a wood stove her whole life.
Okay.
And that my mom and dad bought her an electric stove one time, and my Aunt Peggy used it to light her cigarettes with. And my dad used to make the joke it was the most expensive cigarette lighter he ever bought, because she liked her wood stove. She just was so used to her wood stove. But she would get her fire started, and she'd start cooking breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And by 4:30, it was ready. She'd have everything ready. 4:30 in the morning.
Ain't that something?
Having breakfast. But there were a lot of chores to do.
Right.
She had a little farm, and she had sheep, and she had some goats, and she had a bunch of chickens, and she had ducks and geese, and just about there. She had probably 20 dogs.
Yeah.
Cats. You name it. There was all kinds of things to do.
Yeah.
Cut wood.
Yeah.
Cut kindling. Bring in her coal for her.
Right.
Because she used coal and wood, and that's how she heated the house the whole time until she died. But I remember. That's one memory always sticks in my head is the smell coming up those steps. And
that's
that
cool.
wood burning. And, it's just something I'll never really forget.
Right.
Now, she'd work you like a dog. She'd feed you good, but then she'd work you like a dog. Yeah. So, but that's one memory I remember.
That's good. Well, where'd you grow up at?
I was born actually in Northern Virginia, and right in Warrenton. I was born in Warrenton, which is right beside Culpeper. It's probably about an hour from D.C.
That's where they steal the votes at.
Yeah,
Up north.
a lot of that goes on. Yeah. So, but when I lived there, it was mostly farms.
Right.
It was just a farm area. There was a lot of dairy farms. That's what my father was. He was a dairy farmer, and but at that time it wasn't built up like it was now.
Right.
It was just a bunch of farms, countryside.
Is that where you started school at?
That's where I started school, and my mom, her parents lived there. My grandmother and grandfather were from that area.